Okay, so I've been trying to get this done for weeks now, and getting to the point now where I'm sort of struggling to breathe. So it's not really a situation that we're ever going to see. I was supposed to be gone by now, so we'll see what happens after I put this out. And you know, this is what it is now. I'm not just going to end up a statistic and have this not heard, because people need to know who these people are and what they're responsible for. They can't gain any more power, and they don't have any more power. Their time is done now, and the most protected people on the planet right now are children, and that's the way it is. So they know this, and this is where we're at now. So this situation has been disgusting. It's gone on for 8 years, and the blatancy of these people actually leveling people up and putting them out in the public spotlight so that other people can adore them and feed them their energy, which they in turn use when it comes to child abuse. And this is what's happening, and this is the truth, and people need to really understand that. They're starting really heavy now, so I've written it down because yeah, I've tried hundreds of times to sit here and speak, and every time I do, stuff starts getting messed up. And if people don't believe this stuff's true, then that's fine. But then we all wish it wasn't. We really do. But this is what happens. And you know, they've been messing with my spine and all sorts of stuff, and this is the level that they operate on, okay? They're 3D physicality level. So they know that they can mess around with this, but there's something inside that they cannot ever touch, ever. And they will never have. So that's why they do this. And that's been really fascinating, because it's been an absolute shocker to me to realize how pathetic they really are. Because I've been faced with the heaviest shit I could imagine. I'm a seriously heavy target. And this is the truth. You will understand that when I read my story, and this is just me skimming around the edges, depending on how far I get. So, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna have to start reading. It is what it is, and I'm just gonna drop this here, and we'll see what happens after that. But I'm just going to clear up something immediately and say that I'm not interested in taking myself out of my own life at all. As much as this isn't a life, this isn't somebody living or even existing at this point. The pain and torture has been immense, and I'm not even going to give them any of that credit either. These people are pathetic. They are fucking losers, and they deserve to be put in their place as exactly what they are. If you're that much of a bitch ass that you have to attack kids to feel anything, then you're a fucking loser, and you just are gonna get what's coming. And I've told these people that for years now, is this train is gonna get to a point where it can't stop. And maybe 3 or 4 years back, because I've been having dialogues with these people, as when I read my story, you'll understand why I say that. These people have started channeling and torturing me through that kind of means. So a few years back, I told them, and I've been throwing down, you know, there's going to get a point where this train is not going to stop, and I am going to do this. I am going to bring the truth out, and they really didn't believe that that was going to happen. So I have a lot of respect for, I'm a fully integrated person, so I understand that, you know, I've had darkness, or I have hold that within me, dark and light, you know, from whether it's past lives or whatever. But you don't go backwards, and your intention speaks volumes. So no one can honestly sit here and say that they're a complete saint, because that's not the case. To be a fully integrated being who is whole, you need to have all of those experiences. But like I say, you don't go backwards. And so they really didn't know who they were messing with when it came to me, because I have full understanding of who I am. And now they do too. So yeah, like I say, I have full, deep respect for anyone who would actually turn around like that at that point, because that takes way bigger balls than moving forward. Like, you have no idea what it would take for somebody to come forward and do that, and, you know, put themselves out there. So yeah, deep level of respect, and these people know that as well. But we're dealing with some serious insidious energy, and they kind of saw it as a challenge. And there are, you know, instances where they just want to destroy you, and they will just keep going and going and going, and that's kind of where we're at now. Before I get started too, I am only going to speak about my perspective. I can't even look at any other angles for this. I'm not going to speak for my son or for anybody, and I'm going to keep my shit together. This is me because it has to be. I can't look at some of that for too long. Yeah, I'm not going to go into a massive story about all of this, but this is basically the gist of it. That's taken me a few weeks to put together and make sure I have not forgotten like pieces of information that I really wanted to bring up. So, and this is a big fuck you to them. Okay, this is me kicking the crotch out from under you. So, what I have to say is extremely dark and painful, and I've spent weeks writing this out so that it's concise and clear, because yeah, I can't sit here in these emotions and like speak freely and remember everything, as you know. So in 2017, I ended a relationship with someone that I did not know abused my son at age 3. When this relationship ended, he was forcibly removed by police. He began heavy stalking me and actually moved into my same street along with a female and another male. So they were causing disturbances and running up into the street and sick stuff like as well around my house. And at one time they entered my property, the firearm, many things. I told police that this person was stalking me because I was a single mum with a child who was 4, and didn't realize at the time, but this person was actually quite obsessed, not just with me, but also with my son, and it's really sick. A sick, disturbed, fucked up individual. So I told the police that this person was stalking me. I broke my lease early, and suffice to say, I'm really concerned about some of the neighbours in that area as well that may have witnessed things. And in a lot of neighbourhoods, actually, as I've been bouncing around from place to place, and you have no idea of what's been packed into 1 year. So I'm also a remote viewer, psychic, empath, channel. These are things that they found out halfway along this journey, and that's when things took a really bad turn, and they started amping up and doing training themselves and just wanting to really get into that arena. So I went to stay at my son's father's after I broke my lease from that property. And that's where we began being actively pursued by a trafficking network because of these people. Pretty sure that this female had connections to this network from what I have picked up I'm just going to say the words picked up, and you know what I mean by the remote viewing, channeling. They've told me through channeling, because I've been doing a lot of psychic research. It's all I could do while I've been waiting to be taken out, and didn't even realize I was doing it at the time, to be honest. Like, who would? I'm not consciously doing that, but now that I look back on it, the past 5 years has been research. And okay, see, as soon as I try and speak freely, and they really showed their hand. Okay, just get through. So this person, I don't even want to say a female, because this isn't a female. Just because you have a womb, that doesn't mean anything. This person is disgusting human being. And I have a lot of reasons why that is. She basically put a hit out on me. So yeah, that's kind of what sparked this whole thing. So I'm assuming someone found out that this person abused my son, and these people are so mentally challenged that they see an abused child as a green light. You know, it's really hard to articulate this kind of thing. As you can imagine, there is so much disgustingness in this and in these words that have to like come forward. But people have to know, like, they have to know this. It can't be hidden anymore. And these kids don't have voices to do this for themselves. Like, they don't. So during a home invasion attempt to abduct my son, his elderly grandfather, who was cancer ridden as well, could barely walk as it was beaten. Jet's father was detained, and I guess in a state of all this shit and confusion, I managed to get the phone and I called 000. Total fog. Don't even remember how any of this transpired or why I even said what I did when they answered the phone. So when the lady on the other end answered the phone and said, "What's your emergency?" I said something that I don't even know. I don't even know where it came from or why, but I guess it was the urgency of it that I didn't think anyone was going to get there quick enough if I said what was actually happening. So I said it's a terrorizing attack kind of thing. And immediately bells and alarms went off, and the lady was like, "Stay on the line," and it was chaos. And next thing I know, the whole street is full of sirens, like 10, 12, I don't even know. I didn't see, I was inside the house. So the street was just full of sirens. Soon after that, most of those officers were asked to leave, and we were left with like 2 or 3. I was dosed with methamphetamine by one of these officers, who made me a cup of tea, you know, as police officers do during this kind of thing, and sat me down and, you know, he said, "Just wait here and calm down," sort of thing. While the other one spoke to me, and I recognize this person. This is hard to speak about because one of these people was involved in this, one of these officers. So I was dosed with methamphetamine by one of these officers who made me a cup of tea at the house before putting me in an ambulance against my will and ripping me away from my son. was taken to the Lyle McEwen Hospital, drug tested on arrival, and that's how I knew that I'd been dosed, because I know what I put in my body, and it wasn't that. So the significance of this hospital is my son was actually born there for 5 years prior to this. And that's how sick these fuckers are. This is how sick they are. This is what they do. They parade this in front of you, and they leave little sickening trails and synchronicities to trigger like that trauma in you every time a car rolls by with, you know, one of them in it, or it's constant reminders, and it's just sick. They're sick. Anyway, banning words. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I don't call them pedophiles anymore. I call them feral files. And this has been my existence for the past 8 years. So no child and no family should ever have to think about this kind of thing. Like, we should be going on living our lives not having to worry about this kind of shit. This is what I've lived for the past 8 years. So I'm well versed to speak on it, as painful as it is for some people to hear. So yeah, they don't deserve any glory. They are losers, like losers of the worst kind. And yeah, found that out pretty quickly. So after saying, and this is the thing, this is how insidious and psycho they are, after saying all this and reading all this, they may want to come and take me out just to kind of prove a point, because I'm sitting here throwing them down. And I have thrown them down. Like, they know as soon as I leave this body, if that happens, like, it's game over. So they know how powerful I am. And lots of people are, most people, but they're not. They need your energy to do anything, and not, you know, they need lots of it. They need lots of attention. Just got something popping up. So yeah, they're absolutely powerless on their own without any kind of support. And even if you don't know you're supporting them, they will put themselves in positions where they're like saints. And of course, you're still giving them support to go and do what they want to do. And I think that's what part of this media thing has been, is just gaining energy and support. And all I have right now is the truth. That's literally all I have. And you know what? That's enough. Because every word I have spoken is the absolute truth. I'm doing something kind of random here and just going to sit here and speak the truth, which you don't see very often. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of people I follow who are amazing, and I really want to credit them for my journey as well, and for all the support that I've felt come up within myself through their teachings and stuff like that. So see, I ramble off and blabber. These people position themselves in places like this. So the police force, whatever it is, they will you know, infiltrate that kind of thing and position themselves there. It's what I mean by corruption and things like that, because I'm sure there's tons of good people, and I know there is tons of good people, especially in the military as well, police force, that are actually working to stamp this kind of shit out and are just not tolerating it anymore. Like, we're not having it. So I was detained under involuntary admittance at the hospital while my son was trafficked at the age of 5. So yeah, according to them, this home invasion never happened. And I was put in an ambulance. You should know that I don't give a shit about these people. I don't owe anybody anything. I'm not interested in protecting any of them at all. No one should be protecting them. And regardless of what they want for me to be completely disheveled inside and out, is my fear of them, and they can't get that. So it's a full-scale attack now, because they know they can't get anything from me. They're not getting any fear. They know I've been smacking them down. So it's basically like, you know, we need to go for total destruction now. So yeah, So yeah, I've chosen integrity over fear, basically. And yeah, when you pull back the curtain, you see what an actual joke they are, and how many people they need supporting them to come at anyone. In the hospital, it wasn't like a typical wing. That wasn't what was going on there. Yeah, I surprisingly managed to get released after the time that I was there. A few attempts to do what they wanted to do and silence me didn't happen, and I don't really know. This is one of them situations where it's kind of shocked everybody, me and them, I think. Yeah, how it kind of got this far. So I ended up being released. It was clear, like, that there were cameras in the house and surveillance in the neighborhood. I have concerns, real concerns for people in those neighborhoods. I'm talking about extortion, child abuse, and yeah, people being taken out of their lives, removed. Yeah, all of those neighborhoods that I've been followed from over the last 8 years. So yeah, people are dead. People are dead. They've lost their lives. They've lost their lives for doing nothing to cover someone's ass. And as sickening as all this is, it gets much darker, because these people started messing around with stuff that they didn't know anything about. Negative witchcraft, Satanism, channeling, all kinds of spiritual, astral stuff. I mean, yeah, they've been trying to pull me astrally out of my body, all sorts of crazy, messed up shit. So yeah, after they realized that I had certain psi abilities, things took a really different turn, and people were triggered as F. So they started pedaling as hard as they could. How do we, you know, how do we meet this kind of thing? This began after probably the most disturbing thing This began after probably the most disturbing thing I think anyone could imagine, and that is something I have to say that is not really something anyone wants to say. Because if you were going to put a mental health brand on somebody, it's kind of here. But this is the truth. This is exactly the truth, and anyone who has eyes to see that is going to see. So a telepathic connection was formed between me and my son's abuser. Yeah, I guess some people call them PSYOPs, psychic watch, 24/7 psychic watch type of stuff, where someone comes in and starts watching your conscious, your sort of like your mind, sort of thing. And yeah, it's a real thing. Obviously, people can connect telepathically, but this is kind of different. This is a 24/7 thing going that never stops. This person's connected in, can see everything as well. Yeah, it's very deep and disgusting. And although it is kind of one-sided in the sense that straight away when he came in and started communicating, it wasn't communicating, it was just shock and stuff going off everywhere, like what was happening. Freaking out. He started, someone prompted him to try and hurt me because they didn't believe that this was happening, and so he was trying to hurt me, and I sort of put my guard up and stopped that immediately. All of this was extremely, yeah, I'm talking about this, but this is not something anyone really gets the chance to talk about or wants to. So I'm laying in bed and this happened, and I heard, you know, him relaying everything that I was doing and thinking to these people. And this was not AI. This was not like programming, because I've got that as well in another section. They started that after. So yeah, initially this is what it was. I don't know who's responsible for this, but yeah, I had a psychic connection that was formed between us, and I couldn't see or hear anything he's thinking. All I could hear was him relaying everything I was doing, everything, and torturing at the same time. Like, oh, you know, whatever I'm doing would start torturing me about what I'm doing, about what he thinks about my son, what he's been doing to my son. Just really, I don't think this is something I can elaborate on. After this, there were other experiences where other people started jumping on as well, and there was even one night where something insane happened, and all of a sudden I could hear a million, or no, billions of voices, like so many that I could hear, hundreds, like here, and there were so many, it felt so vast that I thought my head was going to explode, like, but I just sat up in bed and immediately just asked for that to be removed, and it sort of disappeared again. I was just back to me and him and a few other stragglers that had jumped on board. I don't know if that was some collective thing, collective conscious, or another realm. I do not know, but this was a lot. This was like an entire planet and no one can take that in their head. So there's just weird things that have been happening. Also another night where Satanists came in and did the same thing, and basically I blacked out after, you know, hearing them come in, and started investigating my energy. They want to find out what kind of sexual energy I had, and that then I just blacked out after that. So I don't know what they do, whether they're like poking around looking for things and they just sort of knock you out, or but moving forward, gotten now to a level of mastery where not allowing any of this to happen. Basically, I am in control here. Like, you don't come to this, you don't fuck with this, and you need to stand in that power. Is like, you know, I am driving. So yeah, also another night where this is one of them things that I really want missing pieces of this puzzle, because I feel there's something bigger going on than just this, what I've been through here with this. So after my most recent relationship breakup, which went very bad, I was kind of laying in bed, and there's a moment, and anyone will tell you about sleep state and things like that, like alpha and delta is obviously where you get your deep sleep and your body's able to replenish and recover, and they're not allowing me to get into that delta sleep state at the moment. So I'm under serious sleep deprivation torture, and that is another reason I've had to write this so that I can just say it, because this was never going to get done if I just had to sit here. Alpha, where people do a lot of meditation, all that kind of stuff, is there's a moment right before you doze off to sleep where you start hearing. You're like right there, you know what I mean? Like close to the veil, the spiritual veil, whatever you want to call that, that is, you know, attached to other realms, or yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if you can catch that moment right before you fall asleep, I think you'll find that that's where, you know, people do. Okay, just bear with me a second. You know, like I'm talking about out-of-body experiences and things like that. I'm just going to break it down simply. So I was laying in bed, and right before I was about to fall asleep, I was kind of caught in this space, and I heard clear as day. So Paul needs some of this girl's energy to connect these two together. Now, Paul is the person who molested my son 8 years ago. Oh, sorry, no. I actually don't know how young he was, but no, they're not getting any of this from me. Yeah, I heard a voice come in and say, Paul needs some of this girl's energy to do that. And then yeah, there was some gatekeeper talk. Somebody said, well, who's the girl's gatekeeper? And there was a reply. The girl thinks Archangel Metatron is, and someone said, okay, let's go with that. And next thing I know, I was asleep. And I know this is significant, and I know this is important. And I should probably say as well, I don't have a gatekeeper. No way in hell do I have anybody govern my experience here or anywhere else. I'm in full control of that. I'm not interested in being a controlled being in any kind of way, you know. So, yeah, gatekeepers are not always what they seem. And nobody, no God or no higher being or anybody is ever going to blame somebody for going within themselves and trusting themselves and putting all that faith in their own self. No one is ever going to criticize you for that. Ever. Why would a creator ever criticize you for that? That is something to be revered and respected. To see somebody invest like in that kind of growth is beautiful. So nobody's ever going to criticize for that. Standing in your own power, standing up for yourself, not needing your hand to be held, just, you know what, I've got this. Like the stuff that I've put behind me and got to this point, if I could zoom out and look back at myself from that perspective, I would be shocked. I'd be like, man, I wouldn't even be able to recognize myself. But you can't when you're in this, you know. So, I can't really, you know, even go into how that's looked, that psychic connection, for over the past few years. Because there's plenty of people out there who've come out and talked about psyops and all that kind of thing, and it's very real. So I'm not sitting here trying to convince anybody. We know this is real. We know this is happening. People are coming out and telling their stories everywhere, and you know, now we just need to learn how to discern who's telling the truth and who's not. But I've learned listening to people's experience is what I want. Listening to people's journeys, like what have they been through? I don't want to sit here and listen to somebody who tells me how to act, how to speak, what I should say, how I should feel, and who I should love and respect and honor and act like they are the bearer of all knowledge, because that's not the case. We all have that knowledge. Like, I've met myself now, and I found out what a badass fucking beast she is. So there is no way in hell these people can take that from me, because I've got to that point now. And they will try and say that's ego and twist that. And that is not a toxic ego at any level. I'll tell you what is toxic. Somebody stepping towards somebody else who wants to grow, who loves themselves, who has that strength in self, and attacks them. That's toxic. And ego driven, because it triggers something in them. Anyway, so I'm going off on a rant. This is not my default pose. I'm trying to say, yeah, this is heavy stuff, and this is what it requires. So yeah, context. To put it into context, it's basically what we've lived is very different to the narrative that they've been running, and I only have the pieces I have. That's it. I've been cut off completely from the mainstream media, blocked from whatever it is that they're broadcasting this shit from, and I know they are, because I haven't been able to walk the street now for maybe 5 years without just chaos, and what they've done to my son is just reprehensible and disgusting. No child should ever have to step out and be treated that way and be looked at and have all these lies spun about the people who care most about him, the people who love him most, the people who would die to protect him. He's being told. That's the kind of sick, torturous fucks these are. So it's game over now. It's fucking game over. Yeah, so that's been purposely hidden from me, obviously, because if I were able to respond to any of that, it's, you know, game over. Like I said, they are. There's no way they can stand up. There's no way their lies are going to stand up, especially if they have to look me in the face or respond to me after the shit that they flung at me and the destruction that they have caused is immense. So this is mainly for them. Like, this is a message to them. No, it's not. If this was a message to them, my phone would be kind of broken at this point. Because I've just been sitting around here waiting. I'm like, fucking come at me. Come at me. And I just can't believe what rats they are. Absolute rats. Like, just rats. Not one of them has fronted up. And I mean, I don't know where anyone else is from, but generally when you have beef with someone, you sort it out in some way. Yeah, that's been the funniest thing about all of this. So not only have these people blocked me from the mainstream media narrative, so I can't respond. My energy doesn't lie. Energy doesn't lie. But very key point, possibly can be blocked. Okay, so energetically, I'm wide open. Psychically wide open, because I wanted it that way. I am sitting in the truth, and this is the truth. And people can be blocked. Remote viewers can be blocked, even. So I think right now we're at a point where things are being really amped up on both sides. And I almost feel as if I've been used in some way for information as well as how to get around some of these tactics. Some of these discernment methods that people are trying to use to see who's telling the truth now. I personally have been psyoped, so the amount that they have learned from me is insane. They siphon people's minds, especially people with knowledge. So access to divine knowledge, channels, all that sort of thing. Actually, no, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying that what's happened to me, these people have gained a lot. An absolute shit ton. And it's only gotten more because I've fought them off and stood in my power even more and more and grown and grown and grown even bigger. So things have really like lit up for me in that sense, like with the channeling and connecting to my own higher being, who's like a real force basically. And I know there's lots of you out there, but yeah, once that connection came through really strong, I'm just like, you know, lit up. And yeah, they were piggybacking off the back of that as well. Keep going. So I've had dialogues with these people, obviously, as they're on my channel, and assuming that I'd basically be dead soon, they've really shown their hand, like really shown their hand, and I've been privy to a lot of disturbing conversations that nobody would really want to be. And a point I really want to make is people never think females can cause trauma, or that females would be involved with trafficking people's kids, or enjoying the fruits of that, or helping cover it up. But they are. They actually are. And also, the people who do abuse kids are not the stereotype we want to think. In fact, more specifically, in this situation, they were young guys that get involved in this kind of thing too. And yeah, it's going to be a complete wipeout. So yeah, people don't assume that females would be involved in this, but I can tell you that they are. I wouldn't call them females though. And yeah, more specifically as well, two people I've known in my life have actually had a gun in their hand and snuck around on my property with the intent to take me out. Two people that I've known in my life, two women, I'm not going to call them that because they're pigs, got suckered into this whole thing thinking that they were cool as shit, and got propped over my fence and sat in my backyard laying in wait to take me out. Didn't happen, obviously, because they're weak as fuck. But this is where we're at, okay? And you tried to take a mother out of a son's life. A little boy who was 5 at that time, 5 years old, take his mum. That's who you are. That's what you did. And if you think for a second that we are going to wear any of that shame, fucking think again, because that is all you. And the fact that these two women have children of their own makes me want to vomit. These people have actual children. And this is just a small part of all of this. So this is only what they've done to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's other voices here as well. And the destruction is just something that can never be paid back, I'm afraid. Never for these people. So I might take a break and